Good morning and welcome to the Always Sunday Football Podcast. It's a Sunday special. I'm your host, Dave, and I'll be joined on Sunday mornings by Anthony. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, pal.
Good
Happy
morning.
Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you. Happy
What
birthday,
a
by the way.
Sunday it is.
Yes. So
This is
the
the
idea
make
of,
it or break it week for many people today.
yes, we have week 14 in fantasy football leagues, which should be the last week in your fantasy football league. If this is not the last week of the regular season in your fantasy football league, change the rules because you guys are screwing up. You gotta do your playoffs in 15, 16, 17. That's the right way to do it. So we're going to be answering if anybody has any fantasy questions, start sits, last minute stuff. We'll definitely be answering those questions. But the idea here for this morning and for every morning from this point to the end of the season is for Anthony and I to break down the NFL slate game by game. We're just going to talk through the games a little bit, discuss the fantasy relevant players in each game, and our goal is to build a cash lineup and a tournament lineup for DraftKings. So again, we're going to talk through the games, we're going to discuss the players, and then we're going to make our little lists here, and then we're going to go back through and we're going to try to make a tournament lineup and a cash lineup. So I think the first thing that we should discuss real quick before we dive into the games, Anthony, is what is a cash lineup and what is a tournament lineup, right?
Tournament lineup is one of the where you're shooting for the ceiling, right? You're getting all the high risk, high reward players in your lineup to ultimately try and optimize and get the highest possible score in a tournament with lots of people. Where a cash lineup is you're playing more of the floor safer guys that you know are going to get you the points you need to at least just place into a lineup and at cash, where you're not going for the $1 million prize. You're doing a multiplier, double up. You're just trying to get into the pot of where the money is.
Usually it's a half and half. Like usually it's a 50% of the people win, 50% of the people lose. It's a 50-50, a double up. Those are your best cash games to play, or a straight up head to head. If you go head to head with somebody, typically you'll play a cash lineup because, as Anthony mentioned, you got some safer players in there, floor plays, not as much risk. You're only trying to beat one person, or you're only trying to be in the top half of the scorers. Whereas, as Anthony mentioned, the tournament lineup, you want to be first place. You're trying to get first place, so you're going to have a little more risk, a little more reward. Sometimes you'll put some safe floor plays in the tournament lineup. Sometimes you'll put some riskier plays in a cash lineup. But for the most part, those are the guidelines that you want to abide by as you're going through, just to continue give yourself the best chance to win. Because we want to make money. That's the bottom line, right?
Right, absolutely. Some of the things, I mean, I never do it because if anybody knows or anybody watches this show regularly, they know that I'm more of the gambling, shoot for the ceiling regularly kind of guy. But if you're the person you're doing 10, 20 bucks a week, and dispersing that through all different types of things you take a $10 double up, and then of the cash lineup, and then you get $10, and now you mix those in. So at least if you don't do good on your tournaments and you hit the double up, you kind of played for free, at least in a sense. That's what I was trying to start like on a good week of a no crazy Anthony gamble. That's what I do.
Yeah, every week I try to build one solid cash lineup, and I play a few double ups. Typically, I'll play single entry double ups, and game choices is actually important too. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we transition. I usually play a single entry game way everybody just gets to enter one lineup. So in a regular tournament, a mass multi-entry tournament, you're allowed to play up to like 20 lineups or sometimes 30 lineups, where somebody can put the same lineup in 20 times. So if that lineup gets in the money, they're taking up 20 money spots. So I like to play single entry tournaments and single entry contests, whether it's cash or tournament.
There's generally less of those, but they're there.
Yeah, you gotta comb through. So the game choice is very important. So the two games that I'm going to be building my lineups in today is going to be a single entry double up, It's one of the larger field single entry double ups. So the more people, the better chance you have to finish in the top half. And then I'm also going to build a tournament lineup for the $3 single entry pylon, which is I did a little reading to try and figure out, how do you choose the right games? How do you choose the right tournament, so on and so forth? And a lot of the research that I turned up came back with this single entry pylon. The $3 pylon has a really tournament payout structure where a lot of people do get paid. It's a little flatter, and there's the first place doesn't go crazy rich, but a lot more players out.
And that's good, or at least they beef it up down the line, which is good because like the odds of you getting first place out of 70 to 200,000 people is very slim. So I'd rather be able to get paid out further, or if I placed 400th, and that would normally get you $10, now in this one and get you 15, 20, that I'm more interested in that. And since you're placing those two, I want to add something, and I will place it because it's something I've probably told and talked to you about that I feel like you would do very good as well as me because I have the jelly feel. But tiers, I think tiers is something that is kind of I've hit more than I've lost when I play them, where where you're not like top hits, but it basically, I think there's 8 tiers or 7 tiers. And the first, and as you go down into more tiers, there's more players in that tier. So you have tier 1 is generally 4 quarterbacks. You got to choose one out of the 4. Second one, I think there is like a 5th quarterback involved. So now you're just picking out of a group of people that they have already given you. And now if you basically pick the best person in each tier, you won. And I think that kind of, it simplifies the whole, I have to, which guy. So, and I don't know if you've ever done that, but I want to do that where I'm not going to even, hey, this is my jellies. I want a full on Dave tier.
Okay. Well, we're going to, we'll dive in and we'll see if we can build one of those as well. Okay. So the first game we'll talk about is the 1 o'clock games. We're going to talk about the Carolina Panthers at the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this line keeps getting bigger and bigger. The Eagles are now favored by 14 points, and the over-under is 45. So, I mean, let's start, I suppose, with the fantasy relevant players on the Panthers. I bet you thought I was going to say Eagles, didn't you? No, I want to get into the Panthers first, just because it'll be quicker. we can get through it. Real quick though, before we do that, I just want to mention that right now the Eagles are implied for 29.75 points, and the Panthers are implied for 15 points. Implied team total, the way it works is, hey, Mr. Magic, what's up? Good morning, welcome. Looks at the over-under. So as I mentioned, the over-under is 45. So you take that spread and then you apply it to the over-under. You take the total number of points, 45, and then you figure if the Eagles win by 14, basically what you do is you cut it in half and then you add or subtract that 14 to it. So the Eagles are implied for 29 points, the Panthers for 15. The reason why this is important is because in DFS, a lot of times it's really good to look for teams, players from teams who are implied for at least 25 team points, because you know that they're expected to score at least 3 touchdowns in the game. So there's more points to go around. So that's how using the spreads and the over-unders, and more importantly, the implied team totals to choose players from the games. So back to it.
Because a lot of people will basically just look, all right, let me just see the over-under. What's the highest 3 games of the week? There's a 51, there's a 50, there's a 49. I'm just going to choose from that game instead of diving a little deeper, like you just said, and getting that implied total. Okay, if the over-under is 50, and it could be the Lions versus the Panthers or something, where it's like the Lions are going for 40 and the Panthers are going for 10. So you want to choose from the right team in that high over-under game.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect example is the game we're talking about right now. You see a 45-point over-under, and you're like, okay, a lot of points are going to get scored in that game. But it looks like most of them are going to get scored by Eagles. So you're not going to pick Panthers, even though the game itself has a high total. So the Panthers, Anthony, is there anybody on the Panthers that you're excited to play in this game? Right now, the Eagles have like the best defense in the NFL. They're the hardest team to throw against, and they're the fourth hardest team to run against. They have, top. So before we get into that, Mr. Magic has a question.
GM to y'all. Yes. Good morning, my man. Coming in to ask who I should play between Jacoby, JSN, or DK in full PPR. Not Jacoby.
Yeah.
So now you have to make
easy
that
out.
tough decision between JSN or DK.
I know that DK missed some practices this week. He was banged up. He's still banged up. I think he got back to a limited or maybe a full practice on Friday, but he did miss a couple practices this week. JSN is fully healthy, and he's been getting a lot of volume. So while I love DK and I have DK in one of my lineups that I'm playing today, I probably would lean JSN there.
And I think he's $100 more in DK.
Who?
JSN is $100 more in DK for like purchases. I think it was 63, 62. You know me in numbers. I just randomly remember it. But yeah, I would agree.
That's fine. Yeah, that's
I
fine.
would lean JSN there. If it was if it was DK full practices, you go DK, but safer play JSN. Tell Jacoby that it's a Brock Bowers show.
That's true. That's true. So the Panthers, the guys who we could discuss, we have Chuba Hubbard, we have Jonathan Brooks. We got that little thing going on where Chuba's been great this year, and then now Brooks is starting to get some work. So I feel like both of those guys are pretty, in my opinion, unplayable because you never know what the work share is going to be, and they're going to just cannibalize each other. You got Adam Thielen at receiver, who's actually been pretty solid, but he's got one of the worst matchups you can have as far as playing against the Eagles, and they're like Quinyon Mitchell is a stud, that rookie, and the other rookie they have, Cooper DeJean, is pretty good.
Yeah, he body slammed Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Do you Panthers?
I am. That's not the right word to use. Okay. I am not excited to play any Panther, and if your boy was going to play a Panther, it would be for a tournament lineup, not a cash lineup, and it would be David Moore.
Interesting. Why? Because it's cheap. He's cheap.
He's cheap, 4,000. He's gotten into the end zone, I think, like a couple times in the past few weeks, and because Thielen and Leggett should be like the ones obviously getting locked down, and maybe he's the one that gets free, or at least if he still continues with that trend and gets a touchdown for 4,000, if he gets a couple catches, and even if it's under 50 yards but a touchdown, you're talking 15, 16 points. That's 4x. I'll take it.
Fair enough. So I put David Moore on my tournament list. So let's talk Eagles. You got Barkley. You got AJ Brown. You got I don't know about Devontae Smith if he's playing today.
No Goddard, I believe. So
no Goddard. Yep, that's true. So Dallas Goddard is out, which puts Grant Calcaterra, the tight end, into play. He's a very cheap option if you're looking for somebody gross to play, or if you're looking for somebody cheap to play and you don't mind if they're gross, then Grant Calcaterra at tight end, you could do a little bit worse. But I don't think he's going to see volume, so just be aware of that. You might get two or three catches.
I'm a little. I have AJ Brown and the Hurts stack, I think in 2 leagues, at least AJ Brown in 2, and I mean, I'm not like nervous about it, but I just don't. It's like, oh, this isn't going to be I don't think this is going to be AJ Brown blow up week, because if they get up big early, they're going to run the ball. If anything, this should be a Saquon Barkley show. I think they're trying to rush him to the record. He's on pace to tie the record.
He's on pace to tie. I think he's on pace to beat the record, but it's, whatever. Beat, tie, doesn't matter.
I mean, right. That record hasn't been touched in a long time. So to be on pace for it, and for the Eagles to just be like, oh, the year we got him from the Giants, just there's so much juice to make them do it. Not kill the guy because they want him for the playoffs, but let it run like a normal game. Let him get $150 on the ground. And then if it's third quarter by then, they wean him out. But as far as everybody else, like, I don't know, maybe they, AJ Brown gets, 6 catches, which is still great, but like, where it's not against a team where they're going back and forth,
Devontae Smith is off the injury report, so he is expected to play, it looks like. So yeah, I think I'm with you though. It's AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts for me, and Saquon Barkley, obviously. Those are the three plays. But all of them are among the most. I think Saquon is the most expensive running back this week, and AJ Brown is the most expensive
$9,000, yeah, I
receiver.
think. Yeah, that's a cash lineup.
Yeah, that's cash for sure. And then obviously AJ, like all three of these guys could also be played in tournaments. Don't get me wrong, but you have to realize that their ownership is probably going to be very high.
Right. And if you got
Although,
Saquon at 9, you're gonna need two of those guys that are 4,000 and under.
yeah, and I guess there is an argument to be made that because they're so expensive, maybe that's what keeps their ownership down. So there, you could play that as well, being like, well,
Right.
maybe a lot of
Like,
people
because
can't
people are
afford.
looking at it like me. They're like, it's the Eagles versus the worst team, potentially one of the worst teams in the league. They have the
Yeah.
worst, rush defense. So, are they going to score 29? Are they just going to run the ball a lot, mix in a bunch of other players, get up big early and then just be done with it. So I am a little fearful of like spending the $9,000, knowing that I do
Mhm.
feel like they're trying to get him that record. So he should still eat, but 9,000 is a lot, He's got to
Agreed.
get 30 points this week for the 9,000 to be basically worth it.
Right.
Very
If
good
he gets
chance to.
if he gets 30 points, he might not even get a flame emoji. It might just be like,
Right,
oh, a
right.
good.
Right. He's got to get a 40-point day. And I don't think against the worst team he's as much as that's the best possibility, but I don't know. They're not
Yeah.
going to overuse him. They need
Mhm.
to they want to win the chip.
Another team, another player who's chasing a record right now is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Mike Evans, who are at home this week hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. The Buccaneers are 6.5-point favorites with a 47-point over, and the Bucks are implied for 25 and a quarter, and the Raiders implied for 18 and three quarters points. So the Buccaneers, that's a good number. The Raiders, not so much. But Mike Evans is he missed a bunch of games due to injury. And, if you haven't heard this, you're living under a rock. But Mike Evans has caught for 1,000 yards every single year of his career, and he's got 10 of them in a row. This is his 11th season. If he gets 1,000 yards this season, he ties Jerry Rice for the most 1,000-yard seasons in a row to start your career. Only problem is he missed a bunch of games, and so now he's way behind the eight ball. However, in the last, I think, 5 games of the season, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, if he averages 96 receiving yards per game, he can still get 1,000 yards. We've seen in the past that this record is important to Mike Evans. We've seen in the past that this record is important to the Buccaneers. Last year, you could see, obviously, they made a concerted effort to get him the record. I think they're going to be feeding the last 5 games of this season. What do you think?
I have to agree. I think it's the same. Him and Barkley are in that same boat. You don't want to kill the guys, but they're this close and very close to beating a record. And for Mike Evans, there's it's this or not to beat it. Where Barkley, he might have another year to be able to possibly get that number. So
Yeah.
they're going to absolutely feed Evans the ball. Like every play, he's going to take a lot of plays off. Like he's going to think on a count, not a bad count, but like if he's in there, he's first look every single time. Normally is, but just for the next 5 weeks, in my opinion, it's just target monster.
I agree. I think that Evans is a cash play or a tournament play. Honestly, he's priced right because he's down. He's not the most expensive receiver, but I do expect him to get as many targets as anybody this week. So I like Evans in cash and in tournaments.
72 is a solid number for him.
Yeah, it's nice because it makes him a little bit affordable. He's not, what is he, like the 5th or 6th receiver, I think.
Something like that. Yeah. Once you start creeping over 8, then it's like it's now tough. So 72 and to 4x that isn't terrible. Even if you get 3.5 for him, that's fine.
And just on the subject or tying up Mike Evans, I think Baker Mayfield is a nice play this week as well. Baker's been good. He's been
I'm hoping and praying, fam.
His production has been down over the last several weeks, basically ever since I traded for him in Dynasty. He was like the QB2. He was like the QB2, and then I traded for him. And he went to hell. But
well, they also started letting Bucky Irving come alive. They used that three running back backfield. And then a lot of his might be just tosses to them, but he was a little banged up this week too, no?
Yeah, he did get banged up, but he always plays. He's a tough motherfucker.
No,
So that was
had
the
a great
question I was
year.
going to ask. Baker's certainly in consideration for cash and for tournaments. What are you doing with the running backs? You got Rashad White, you got Bucky Irving. I'm not really even considering Sean Tucker in this conversation. I think it's really a two-horse race as far as the running backs are concerned. But where do you stand on these guys? Because I know that Bucky's a little banged up.
He's a little banged up. And last week, Rashad White, it's kind of like they're feeding the hot hand there. Like Bucky Irving's the young rookie, and he's looking great. But Rashad White's still a solid running back, and they have two-headed monster there. And I'd rather go elsewhere for that. Like you have to choose between which one, and they both just might have an average teen day, and that's not what I'm looking for. So I just stay away. I feel like they're going to lead with Rashad White first. So if you're going to choose one, I would save the 1,300 and go Rashad White, even though Irving's looked a little more explosive. They're gonna still run the ball, and they're still gonna throw it. Yeah, like I said, if it's me on this team, it's the Baker Mike Evans stack. Maybe Rashad White, and honestly, if I'm going for tourney, I might look at Sterling Shepard just because he's a $4,000 guy.
So is McMillan, just for the record. I mean, McMillan hasn't done anything this year, but just throwing it out there. If you're looking for,
he's $500 less, but Sterling Shepard, obviously older, but he's at least secured target snap percentage. He's on the field. Even if he gets, for 4,000, if he gets 7 catches, 70 yards, I'll take it.
Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. We have to talk about the Raiders. It's Brock Bowers and Lockout, right?
Yes, that's why you skipped. And he's the most expensive tight end. I tried to work him in. I don't think I did actually, even though he'll probably still do it.
Yeah, he's going to get 1 billion targets.
Sometimes tight end is where you got to save a little too.
Sometimes tight end, yeah, you try to be a little cheaper on tight end, but if you're going to spend up, he's the guy. Obviously,
him or McBride, honestly, are the guys.
If there was one high-priced guy that I thought was guaranteed to go off today,
that's Bowers.
It's Bowers, then it's Barkley. I think Bowers is even more assured of a big than Barkley.
Right, because it's like the only option, and they're going to have to throw. Yeah.
Browns Steelers. This is a rematch. The other game was in the snow a couple weeks ago. Jameis won it in dramatic fashion. This week, the Pittsburgh Steelers are at home. They're 6.5-point favorites with a 43.5-point over/under. The Steelers are implied for 25 points. That's nice. The Browns for 18.5. That's not so nice. Where are you on?
Which team are you going?
I'm going to go Browns first. Where are you on the Browns? I think Jameis is playable.
Oh, dude, Jameis is to me, he's a tourney lineup. The Winston Judy stack all day.
Yeah, and I think that
great defense, but the guy, he's gonna throw some maybe God will condemn him from pick sixes.
Deliver him from pick sixes.
Yeah, but Tillman out. Give me the Judy. Give me Njoku. Give me Winston. Only 3 players I'm playing here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that one. I'm not interested in the running backs at all. I'm not interested in. I mean, you could make a case for Elijah Moore as a low-priced option because Tillman's out. If Tillman was in, then all those guys, you can get them all out of my face, Tillman included. But with Tillman out, Moore becomes interesting. So, like, for example, if you're trying to get a little bit tricky, which is not going to be tricky at all because he's going to have a lot of ownership, you could go Jameis and Elijah Moore and Njoku, for example. Or you could do a Pittsburgh, you could do like a Russ stack and bring it back with Elijah Moore to save some money instead of Judy.
Right.
But yeah, those are the 3 players, Jameis, Judy, and Njoku on the team. Same thing for me. And they're all tournament plays because they could have a ton of volume. Jameis could be throwing the ball over the yard, or Pittsburgh could completely shut them down. Dylan, good morning, Dylan. Don't worry about the long post. We're going to get through it for you. Here we go.
Full PPR, 1 quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, Cooper Rush. I think that right. AOC. One tight end, Juwan, Freiermuth, Knox. One wide receiver, one flex. Oh, what's his name? Wes Ikene, whatever, from Tennessee. Devontae Smith.
NWI.
Yeah, Braylon Allen, which I'm going to eat that later. One kicker. All right, thanks. So let's start with Cooper Rush or Aiden O'Connell.
Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush.
I think it's Cooper Rush, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, it's not like it's
Aiden O'Connell stinks.
Give me Cooper Rush on a high passing offense. Tight end. No Knox. I like Juwan Johnson there with no Taysom Hill. Freiermuth's still an okay play.
Which one would you play if you had to play one of the two?
Who are the Saints playing? The Giants. The Giants don't give up a lot to the tight end. Give me Freiermuth.
Okay. So
I mean, actually, the Giants are depleted on defense, bro.
Yeah,
they have been very good against the tight end.
Freiermuth's a good play. Juwan Johnson's a fine play too. You know, but neither one of them are going to win you your week probably. I would vote Juwan. Anthony's voting Freiermuth. Okay, one wide receiver, one flex. So who are you sitting out of this bunch? Ikene, Smith, Allen. I'm probably sitting Ikene. Because Ikene, yeah, he's been scoring a bunch of touchdowns, but that's so risky to just count on a touchdown. Whereas Braylon,
if there was more targets, I agree. He's getting like 4 targets, and there's like 2 touchdowns on those. Which he's a tournament guy.
He's going to get you 2 catches. He's going to get you 2 or 3 catches at most. And if one of them is not a touchdown, you're going to be sad. So for me, I'll take the volume with Braylon Allen, and I'll take Devonta Smith with no Dallas Goedert. That's the 2
I agree
there.
I agree. I don't want to say Allen because bite me in the ass.
I'm going to vote Dicker the kicker because his name rhymes. And I should say that your league should get rid of the kickers and add another flex spot. That's my advice there. Get rid of kickers, add another flex. Yeah. So there you go, Dylan. Make sure and tune in, Dylan. We do this every Tuesday night too. So just make sure you like and subscribe. T Money, what's up, T Money? Welcome back.
Projected 147.94 versus a 112, which sounds nice, but that means nothing. Already had Jacobs and Gibbs play, which I know they did decent.
Jacobs did real good. Gibbs didn't.
Right.
Upside in the flex, or Charbonnet.
Should DK or I would do Charbonnet.
It's I will.
They're going against Arizona, I believe.
Yeah, they're going against Arizona. DK, I don't know that he's going to get doubled. They got to worry about JSN on that team as well. You're going Charbonnet, Anthony?
I think I am, just because who else?
I think
he's going to get.
First of all, we don't know if you're 147 or 112. So if you need a big day, if you need like a huge blow up week, play DK. If you just need a guy who can give you a safe floor, then the play is Charbonnet. That's going to be my answer. If you're behind and you need to win, then you need a miracle to win, a big blow up spot, I think DK is more likely to blow up. But if you need somebody who's got a safe floor, then I go Charbonnet. That's what I would do. Depends. I think it depends. Oh, you're 147. Yeah, see, I would probably play Charbonnet also because you're not looking for a miracle. You're not looking for some sort of Hail Mary explosion play. You're just looking for somebody to not give you a goose. And I think Charbonnet is just going to get a decent volume of work in this game.
Right. And for both of your running backs to put up, 45 already, that's solid.
Yeah, you're not going to need that Hail Mary play. You just need somebody solid. And I think Charbonnet is safe today.
I think he'll get a touchdown.
Yeah, every time that he's been filling in for Walker and he's gotten all the work, he's been pretty solid for fantasy.
He's a big boy.
The dude he's playing, Team Money's got a lot riding on the line today, like a lot of people. The dude he's playing is in first. If he beats him this week and outscores him by 14, you take first. I still go Charbonnet. I do still go Charbonnet there.
Yeah. I think they moved down the field. He in the red zone, they're going to run it. They did great with Walker.
think Charbonnet's got a better chance to score a touchdown this week than
Agreed.
DK does. Put it that way. Let me confirm that for you real quick to make sure that I'm right about that. Charbonnet is minus 120 to score a touchdown today. DK Metcalf is plus 185. So Vegas agrees with us. Charbonnet is more likely to score a touchdown this week by a pretty decent margin. So we're going to go with, we're going to say Charbonnet this week. Be strong. Play Charbonnet.
Yeah, team money. Got you. Get that money, team money.
Yeah, team money. And, we do this on Tuesday nights, but we're going to be here Sunday mornings for the rest of the season too. So come hang out with us. All right. Did we get through Browns and Steelers? We didn't talk about Steelers yet, did we?
No, we didn't talk Steelers.
We didn't even talk Browns yet. We just talked Jameis, Judy, and Njoku. Okay, I guess we did talk Browns. Okay, Steelers. We got Russ. We got Pickens. We got Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. You got your Freiermuth, who we just brought up. Is there anybody I did not say that you're to add to this discussion list?
No.
All right. So where are you on Russ?
The Russ Pickens stack is a nice stack that's cheap in a game that could go to an over under of 50 plus. Look what Russ did last week. I think this is a good play here if you're for a tournament lineup. The Russ Pickens stack is nice.
Yeah, I agree with that. Pickens a little banged up. When people see the little Q tag next to people's names in DK, sometimes they're afraid to click on them. So you might get some low ownership there on Pickens. That's a pretty nice little play. What about the running backs? What about Harris and Warren? Which one of them, if you had to play one of them, which one would you play? And
Najee.
You play Najee?
Yep. I mean, Warren has the receiving upside, but so Najee could still do it for $500 difference. I'd rather in either or spend on Najee.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they give Najee enough work. Like they still treat Najee like the main guy. So I agree. I would play Najee as well. Jets Dolphins. This game probably not going to be too fun to watch. Breece Hall is out. Braylon Allen is in, which makes him a very intriguing play. Now, be aware he's going to have super high ownership, and he's not going to catch any passes. So that's a factor, especially on DraftKings because it's PPR. So just be aware of that. The Jets, Rodgers, you got Wilson and Adams, you got Braylon Allen. First of all, are you getting cute with the tight end Conklin? To me, that's too cute.
2,900.
It's cheap, but it's a little too cute in my opinion. You might get one target.
Yeah, I don't know how this game is going to play out. Like I said, I do regret my move, but I wasn't fully there. But I'm just afraid of any Jets players, man. I'm just so much in New York right now. I'm just like, you know what?
Around here the vibes are.
I'm like the Bert Simpson meme where he's just like going into the trees.
That's Homer.
Oh, what'd I say, Bert?
You said Bert Simpson. Who's Bert Simpson?
I don't know, dude.
It's Bart.
Oh,
Bart
Simpson.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Bert Simpson.
Dude,
I'm not playing him. Okay, so the Dolphins are implied for 26.75. The Jets for 20.75. So Dolphins players technically are playable. Jets players very iffy, very very iffy. Braylon Allen, as we mentioned, he's going to get the bulk of the work. Might not catch any passes. There might be that kid Isaiah Davis or Isaac Davis. I think it's Isaiah Davis, the rookie.
Right. I feel like that's another possibility. Like, they're going to just try and just give a few guys an option. See, like, let me see this guy. Like that's the point.
I think it'll be a timeshare. I think it's going to be your share with the Thunder style. How Adams versus Garrett Wilson. Which one, if any, are you playing? Are you playing both of them? How are you handling that?
Normally, wow, Adams is more. I'm probably honestly, if I had to choose, I mean, they're 100 apart. Give me Adams just because of the relationship that he shares.
His
but
target volume has been bonkers.
I'm not going there. I'm just not going there.
You're not playing any Jets at all.
Nope, no Jets, no Giants. Get away from me, New York.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. See, I have a good amount of Devontae Adams in like my. I'm nervous about it, but I do like I'm counting on that target share to just be bonkers. Like I'm just counting on him to get guaranteed 10 to 12 targets this week.
Listen, you're betting on opportunities, and nothing wrong with that.
Right. Now, I'm not like with Anthony. I'm not playing any of these Jets in my DFS lineups. Like I'm playing him in the season long lineups where I don't have another choice. But when in DFS where I have other choices, I'm making other choices. I'm not playing Devontae Adams because he could get 12 targets, but he could catch 4 of them for 35 yards.
Okay. Let me do this. Let me hold on. No, I was gonna say for an example, like looking at a few. How much is he? 6,700, right? Okay, here's a good one. No, that's a bad one. Never mind, because he's like on an account. So Devontae Adams, Drake London.
I would play Drake London, but it doesn't make me feel. We're about to talk about that game in a minute. We'll talk about that game next. Kirk Cousins has been playing as bad, if not worse, than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, the Achilles injury, guys.
Right. I mean, these guys. I mean, Cousins can barely get the ball down the field. It's like watching Chad Pennington. Speaking of New York quarterbacks,
I was actually talking to somebody else. We were messaging yesterday. Somebody from one of the leagues, and they were like, they heard like maybe Cousins, like maybe Penix is going to start this year. I don't think so. Like, I want to just ask you on your thoughts real quick as aside from what we are. Give me a percentage, I guess that's the best way, of chances of Penix getting a start this year.
95.
I'm going like 10.
Getting a start? Just a start? 95%. Yeah, he'll get a start at the end.
You think he'll start the last week of the season?
Possibly. Let's do Dolphins. If the Falcons, I mean, right now the Falcons are leading the division. If they lose the lead on the division, if Tampa Bay finally takes that division over and the Falcons are out of it, they're going to just start Penix. As soon as they get eliminated from the playoffs, they're going to start Penix. Because they need to know what they're going to do. Because Cousins is a huge trade candidate after the season. With the way he's played this year, he has not done enough. So I think the Falcons would very happily move on from him if they could. Let's just touch on the Dolphins and we'll go back to the Falcons. Dolphins, Tua, Tyreek, Waddle. Do you trust? Now, Waddle has had 2 of his best 3 games in the last 2 weeks. However, one of those games he only scored like 9 points. So one of his, quote, best games, still under 10. So he's only had 2 scored over 10 fantasy points. Are you in any way, shape, or form playing Jalen Waddle?
No, I'm not playing this week. I'm not touching this game. Anybody.
So no Tyreek Hill either.
No.
Is it because of the Jets defense?
Jets defense is good.
They're good. They're better than they've been playing.
Agreed.
Sauce Gardner, and another, speaking of impending free agency or guys next year, the Jets better sign DJ Reed because he's the other cornerback on the other side of Sauce Gardner, because he's actually the good cornerback. Sauce stinks. Sauce is so overrated, it's unbelievable. But yeah, I don't think I'm playing any Dolphins. No,
because and the same reason where, like with Devontae Adams, for me, it's like Tyreek Hill 7,100. I'd rather spend my money elsewhere.
Yeah, yeah. I'd rather spend on Mike Evans.
I think Achane could eat, but for 8,200, I would be like, you know what? For 8,200, I'm gonna go get 800 more bucks somewhere, and I'm gonna get Saquon Barkley and not have to worry about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's true. Again, the Jets defense, they're not playing well this year, but you're also not looking to, you're not like, okay, let me go get whoever's playing against the Jets. But I do like Achane in a vacuum. On DFS, probably not. I think you're right. I'm not paying up for him. But in season long, I feel very comfortable playing.
Oh yeah, fine.
Because even if he doesn't rush for a lot of yards, he's probably going to get like 8 catches.
Oh yeah, he'll definitely for sure.
He'll probably be their leading receiver this week, not Tyreek or Waddle. Okay, back to the Falcons. So the Falcons, you got your Kirk Cousins playing about as bad as he can ever play. You got Bijan, you got Drake London, you got Darnell Mooney, you got Kyle Pitts. Are you interested in any of these guys?
Pitts, I've had in our dynasty league, and I hate him.
Everybody
But
does.
right this year, I mean, we forget that his rookie year he did have 1,000 yards. He's a good player. Just the quarterback situation has been up and down for them. So for dynasty purposes, I'm not like, all right, listen, next I got to figure him out for the rest of the season. But next year, if Penix is the guy, should be okay. But I'm not playing Pitts.
So what you're saying is Kyle Pitts' ineffectiveness is because of the quarterback. What was his excuse last year, or the year before that, or the year before that?
Quarterback.
That's ridiculous.
That's all quarterback.
Darnell Mooney had an awesome beginning to the season. Drake London has been pretty good most of the season, and they all have the same quarterback.
Somebody else is falling right now.
It's starting to seem like a Kyle Pitts problem at this point. So I mean,
as long as I have him on the team, it's a non-him problem. Until I get rid of him.
Yeah, you better get rid of him fast because you're not seeing this one. Vikings. Oh, wait, so are you playing London or not? You interested in that? What's his price?
I think I did for this game. I wanted to get a piece of this game.
Minnesota has the worst passing defense in the league. They're the number one team to target against receivers. They're the worst.
Right, and they're good at scoring. So I wanted to get a piece of this game if I could. And Mooney or London, I'm playing either one of them. So like if you start off clicking London. I think I've done this in one of the lineups where I started off, I'm like, yep, London, I'm going to take. I'm not stacking that, but London, I'm going to take. And then I start building the lineup, and I was like, you know what? I need a couple bucks. So I go London to Mooney. I'm fine with that. It's a $900 difference, and I'm still okay with it.
The way I see him, London is more the more the cash play, and Mooney is more the tournament play. In my opinion. You know, you're getting a little more risky.
Bijan for 75, I'm okay with. He's been going up, but yeah, I don't know who else is there at that price. I don't have him anywhere.
The Vikings are the third most difficult running back defense. So they have they're easy to pass on, but very hard to run on. So
right, but this is a game where I see Bijan getting a bunch of catches.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. But I would rank it London, Mooney, Bijan, in my opinion, for players that I would play. Vikings, Sam Darnold. How do you feel about Sam Darnold right now?
A little wishy-washy, as they say. But
I think he's going to be like the most popular quarterback on DraftKings this week.
For 6,100 and for Justin Jefferson to be 7,800, that's a decently price point for the combo, to get that. That's not a terrible buy.
Yeah, for the price you're getting Justin Jefferson.
The word I was trying to say.
Yeah, he's been.
But yeah, you're under 800 in the receiver. You're under 8,000 in the receiver, and the quarterback is almost 6,000. That's a nice stack to be able to try and hit something with, for sure.
Are you interested in Addison at all? I think Addison makes a nice tournament play, nice pivot.
Alexander Madison, you said?
No. Jordan Addison. Madison is not.
Right. That's why I was like, I'm confused. You went in and out at that statement. I was like, oh my god, what? Are we on there a different game already?
Jordan Addison, I think, is a nice pivot.
5,300. That's a. I mean, are you just to stack that way?
Instead of going Justin Jefferson, because I think a lot of people are going to try to do what you're saying. I think a lot of people will agree with you that the Darnold Jefferson stack is very affordable this week. Oh, I'm going to get it because I can afford it. But it's also going to be a little bit higher owned. I think if you're trying to be a little, a little bit unique, you play Addison and just hope for the best. Because lately, Addison's not outscoring Justin Jefferson every week.
Right. There's your cash is the Jefferson, and then your
Jefferson.
tournaments the Addison. Yeah.
And just hope for the best there. Do you want anything to do with the running back situation, Aaron Jones or anything like that?
I mean, he's been getting some scoring, but if I'm gonna go anywhere, I'm gonna stay on the receiver side. I think there's just gonna be a throwing battle.
Yeah, I think I agree.
I think Kirk Cousins is gonna. That's why I really wanted somebody. I just think he's just gonna try and sling it. You know, like he's going to try and be the reason they win, if they win, kind of thing.
It is the Revenge Bowl right now, Kirk Cousins Revenge Bowl.
Right, and a lot. Honestly, if you look back at a few of them this year, Revenge Bowls have been pretty good for the player going into the. You know, so
that's great analysis. That's good analysis. We can hang our hat on that. Minnesota is the third most difficult run defense. Atlanta is the fifth most difficult run defense. So both of these teams are going to have trouble running. That I think you're right, Anthony. I think they're both going to try to win the game passing the ball. Saints Giants. We'll go through this one quickly because Anthony's not going to play any Giants. But we got the Saints. The Giants are at home. They're 5.5 point favorites. I'm sorry, 5.5 point dogs at home. 41 point over under. Is there anybody in this game you're trying to play? Derek Carr.
If
Alvin
I'm playing,
Kamara.
if you're playing anybody in this game, it's just the running backs. And then for a tournament lineup, MVS.
What about Jawan Johnson, the tight end?
Oh yeah, sorry. I mean, like yet again, I'm still a little shaky on it. For 3,400, I'll take the risk, but the Giants have the best defense against tight end.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's a tough balance on that one. What about Giants? You playing any Giants at all? Malik Neighbors, Tyrone Tracy?
No, because he's going to be on account. If I am, it's Tracy, and I'm not going to like it.
Okay.
I like him.
Who's going to be on account?
Neighbors.
What kind of count?
I just don't think he's going to like play, like the whole game.
So he's not on account. You think he's going to get injured?
No. I'm just saying, like, I don't think he's going to, like, his snap percentage is just going to be down this week, is what I'm saying.
Based on what?
My jellies.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have him on a snap count. That's
not on a snap count. I just don't
like.
I just think they're just gonna.
Well, that's what you did say.
Taking him out on more plays in general, is that a snap count? Sure.
No. Well, yes, that is. But I think let's say what you're not saying. Malik Neighbors is about to get shut down with a season-ending injury. If not today, then before next week. He came up with a quote-unquote practice injury. He's some sort of hip flexor injury that just came up during practice. So now he's got a groin injury at practice 2 weeks ago, and then he just got another injury at practice, not in the game. Where it could be on film, not on film anywhere where anybody could see it. At practice, where we can't even confirm or deny if he ever even was moving to get an injury, let alone sustain an injury. 2 injuries, mysterious at practice, on a bad team. He's going to get shut down for the season. So I think the risk that Anthony's implying here with this count talk is that Malik Neighbors doesn't finish the game due to injury, whether he's actually injured or not. Malik Neighbors, if you're and you're going to the playoffs in your fantasy league, you better have Darius Slayton or another option, because Malik Neighbors will not be available for you in your fantasy playoffs. You heard it here first. He's going to get shut down. If it's not today, it'll be before next week. If he doesn't have some sort of injury in this game where he can finally say, okay, now I'm injured, I'm out, then he's just going to get shut down with another mysterious practice injury before next week. His season is almost over. So I guess nobody trusts him to play him today because we don't even think he's going to finish the game. Tyrone Tracy, as Anthony mentioned, he's playable in this matchup. The Saints defense is not that great against the run. So they're actually third worst against the run. So Tyrone Tracy is probably the best play in this game. But the Giants are heavy underdogs, so that's not a mix that you usually go for. You don't usually play running backs who are heavy underdogs. Jaguars Titans, another shit game. Titans are at home, 3.5-point favorites, 40-point over/under. This is disgusting. The let's see, hold on a second here. The Jaguars are implied for 20, the Titans for 24. So not even neither team is even implied for 25 points in this game. But this is where you can find some value for tournaments and stuff, right?
Yep. I agree with that.
I just broke my pen.
Like Tony Pollard's a good play. Jacksonville's run defense, second worst, if not the worst, but trash. So 6,400 is not a bad play where he should get a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Fourth worst.
Sure. Still one of the worst.
Yeah, no, you were close.
Is the worst. So out of the running backs, that's the only running back in this game that I would play. I'm not really like I don't mind honestly in a tournament situation. I think I have is Will Levis as the QB. Will Levis, Calvin Ridley stack. That is that's a situation where you spend 5,000. What is it? 5,000 for Levis, right? And Ridley's 5,700. So for 10-7, you have a QB and wide receiver stack. Now that's a situation where you could throw Barkley in and still be able to make a nice lineup.
We got Juan Pena. Good morning, Juan. How you doing,
What's
Juan?
up? What's up, my guy?
Juan's got a lot going on here.
Yeah. Who for my wide receiver 2 and RB2 and flex? Got Justin Jefferson as wide receiver 1, Kyron Williams as RB1. My bench: Jawan Jennings, Xavier Worthy, Jacoby Myers, Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney is 1. Westbrook Akine, Charbonnet or MVS. Got Breece Hall and Walker out, and Stevenson on the bye. Oh yeah, week 14. Rough. Sorry.
Your RB2 is Charbonnet, because it's literally the only running back that you listed. you don't have another running back on that list there, so they have to be your running back. But no, he's a good play this week. Charbonnet's a good play. And for me, I'll probably start as my wide receiver 2. I'll probably start Jennings over Mooney because I just trust Purdy a little bit more than I trust Kirk Cousins.
Well, you have to play a flex too. So I mean, Jennings and Mooney.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the flex also. Yeah, then you can throw Mooney in as a flex. That's fine. That works.
Yeah, I'm not. We've already spoke about Westbrook Akine. Like he's going to be the you're not comfortable.
He's going to get you 2 catches. He's going to get you 2 catches, and if one of them is not a touchdown, you're going to be sad.
And MVS, yeah, he's got a good matchup against the Giants, and he should be a same Westbrook Akine.
He's the same thing.
Well, he's a little bit. Yeah,
he'll give you 2 catches.
Derek Carr is a better of the situation. Yeah. Jennings, Mooney, and Charbonnet is the answer to that.
Yes, check us out every Tuesday. We do this at night, and Sunday mornings for the rest of the season we'll be here.
Yeah, so the more you guys like it, the more we do it. It's like.
yeah, there you go. So Titans, you mentioned Levis, Ridley, and NWI. I like those plays. Top Tony Pollard. Any Jaguars Junior by any chance? But I mean, again, it's Mac Jones, so we can't be too excited about the passing game.
You're not too excited about it, but for 5,800, I like it.
For Brian Thomas,
I think. Listen, he's come in. He's done great. Top 10 receiver. I don't know if he's going to finish that way, but with Lawrence out there and a really shitty team, he's cooked. Oh well, he's one. We got one again. Who would you scoop up off of waivers? Freiermuth, Calvin Austin, Brandon Cooks, Kareem Hunt, Leggett, Ray Davis, or Tucker Kraft? Do you have to drop somebody to pick this person up?
Well, I think that's why he listed his bench there. I could see dropping Xavier Worthy and maybe picking up Leggett, or if you need like a backup tight end, Tucker Kraft isn't a bad deal. I don't know who your tight end is, but
Freiermuth isn't bad either.
He's okay. Yeah, he's okay. I like Tucker Kraft a little bit more than Freiermuth, but I think they're both reasonable options. I'm not interested in Calvin Austin. Not interested in Brandon Cooks. Not interested in Kareem Hunt. Not interested in Ray Davis, unless it's dynasty. Or
unless somebody gets hurt.
Right. I could see
if you're stashing.
Swap Xavier's. Take Xavier Worthy, get him out of there, and put Xavier Legette. That's what I would do.
He's got Kittle.
Yeah, so you don't really even. I mean, if you want to be
safe, if you're doing it, you're like, because if he gets injured, but in that case, you're still doing the same thing the next week, picking up somebody, and both of those guys are there. At this point, I guess I would take Legette just because I agree, and because he's been looking good past few weeks. Like they're starting to move the ball. They almost beat the Chiefs, and he's got a better chance than anybody else on that list. That's not a tight end. You know, like you're not trying to really have two tight ends.
Yeah, these guys aren't going to make a difference for you though. So like, it's a fine move to make, but like that's only because Worthy is worth less. You know what I mean? It's not because it's a great pickup. It's just because you have dead weight on your bench. You could swap them out, but really you're just like rearranging, furniture in a room. Rearranging furniture in a room you're never going to go in. So there you go.
Don't sit on that couch. Nobody sits on that couch.
Seahawks Cardinals. We're getting into the 4:00 slate. We got the Cardinals at home, 2.5-point favorites with a 44.5-point over/under. Seahawks implied for 21.75. The Cardinals for 24.25. This game smells like an under to me. Both of these offenses have been playing like real crap lately, and both the defenses have started to play well. No Ken Walker in this game. So for the Seahawks, you got Geno, DK Metcalf, JSN, and Zach Charbonnet. Those are the four names. Which guys are you interested in? Charbonnet is a great play. He's going to be very, very, very highly owned, but I think he's only 4,800.
4,800. He's in like everybody's lineup, one of them at least. If you're playing multiples, I think JSN is a fine play. Marvin Harrison, he's so scary to play.
Lately though, they've been making more of an effort to get him targets, so I think he's a better play now than he had been.
Right, but on it, okay. So if you're doing your lineup and you have 6,100 left, who are you choosing? Trey McBride or Marvin Harrison?
Is it a tournament or cash?
Cash.
Trey McBride.
Safer. You just feel more comfortable with that, right? Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because I think he's going to get his targets. They're both going to get a bunch of targets, but his targets are higher percentage targets. So he's a little safer to me. But in a tournament, I would play Marvin Harrison. That would be how I would break it down.
All right.
I just think he has more like electric upside. Trey McBride is great, but he's not scoring an 80-yard touchdown. Most likely. So Seahawks-wise, DK is in your lineup. JSN is in your lineup.
DK is in just because I have him in leagues, and I'm like just really hoping for it.
What about a Geno stack in tournaments?
How much is Geno? 6? No, 58. That's not a bad price. It's just Arizona's defense has been very good. And if I'm looking at all situations, 5,800, Geno Smith, Justin Herbert, as the same price, I'm going to play Justin Herbert. Russell Wilson at 5,900, I'd probably play Russell Wilson. Go lower, Matt Stafford against maybe. I might even, I don't know.
I'll be right back.
He's running away from me to another play. No, so yeah, I mean, I'm not playing. I'm not doing it. I think there's other places I would go for that price instead of Geno. So no, thank you. Don't worry, I kept it going.
Keep it going, guys.
Yeah, no. So
okay, so
5,800. I'm spending my money elsewhere. I'm not going there.
So anybody else in this game that you're interested in playing? But let James Conner.
I love me some Conner. I don't mind. I like. Yeah, it's to me. I'm playing Conner and Charbonnet.
Okay. Buffalo Bills, Los Angeles Rams. The Bills have looked great lately.
Yeah.
The Rams are at home, 3.5-point dogs, 49-point over under.
You like
And the
that?
Bills are implied for 25. Yes, Bills are implied for 25.75. The Rams for 22.25. So we got two teams that can both score. Let's start with the Bills. Josh Allen, obviously great play.
Always.
But he's also the most expensive quarterback. He's like 8,000, so he's hard to get into your lineup.
And you're not even stacking
You
him with
got
anybody.
his.
He's a standalone.
That's the thing. You don't have to worry about stacking him. So it's 8,000, but you're not adding receivers to it, so you still have money to play with elsewhere. Khalil Shakir, tournament play at best. I mean, I guess any of the Bills receivers would be at best just like dart throw tournament
Mac
players.
Hollins.
Khalil Shakir, Mac Hollins, Curtis Samuel, even Amari Cooper is just a guy in that situation.
Right. Yeah.
But
But if I'm choosing,
Josh Allen,
I'm not choosing a receiver in cash. I'm choosing one of their receivers for tournament. And if it is, I'm probably going Mac Hollins just because he doesn't wear shoes.
What about James Cook? James Cook, good play.
I think a great play. I'm leaning the running backs in this game over the receivers, believe it or not. Like, give me some Kyren Williams this week. Give me James Cook. I wouldn't mind if I could afford a 1-2 right here.
What do you mean?
Both RBs.
Oh, okay. Interesting. What about Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua?
Bills defense has been pretty good, but they're gonna have to throw as well. I like either or. I'd probably go Kupp just to save money.
Yeah, see, I mean that makes money. Then Kupp is the play, but I think if you want the most points, then Puka is the play.
Yeah, he's gonna get more catches.
Yeah,
but
he'll
any
have more
given
catches,
week,
more yards.
any given week, Cooper Kupp could have more touchdowns. So it's, but having more touchdowns, Puka could level out with catches and yards. So I agree, but $700 could change a few things.
That's true. It's a pretty significant difference. But yeah, so your favorite play in this game is what, Kyren and Cook, huh? Interesting.
I like Kyren more than anybody, honestly.
Buffalo is the second easiest run defense to run against.
That too, and then like he's gonna get the dump. He's gonna get some dump offs. He should have a good game. I think he has. If his over under is like 1.5 touchdowns, I would try and go with the over there.
2 touchdowns. Wow.
I feel it in the jellies.
Wow, you can get some good odds on that on DK, I'll bet. Chicago Bears, 49ers. Niners are at home, 3-point favorites with a 43.5-point over under. The Niners are implied for 25.25. The Bears for 22.25. So again, another game that could see some scoring. For me, I like a Caleb Williams, DJ Moore stack, and I could also see throwing in Keenan Allen to a tournament lineup, or even the most fun tournament play for me is Rome Odunze on the Bears. What about you?
I don't think I really grabbed anybody in this game, and if I did, it was the one everybody's going to throw in. That's Garendo, but
oh yeah, good call. We'll get to the Niners in a minute.
Yeah, but I'm a little scared about the Bears and whatnot. I think that that's the best team that's going to have a head coaching job that's available.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They've had some good games. I think it's a decent price to do that stack, 56 and 71 or 61 rather, and you could go a couple down and get Keenan Allen. Not so much for me. I just feel like, honestly, what was the over under in this game?
The over under is 43.5, so it's not that high. It's very
I would say the under too. So I'm staying away.
I like as a I like as a tournament play. I like the Caleb stack. Caleb because he's cheap, and then either DJ Moore or Odunze in this one. Again, like it's just a tournament, they're cheap, and Caleb's been playing well since the offensive coordinator change. They've been letting him throw a ton. So maybe just strictly on volume, he might be a good play. The Niners. So let's talk about Garendo first. So there's no CMC. Both he and Jordan Mason got put on IR like at the same time out of nowhere. Well, CMC was not out of nowhere, but Jordan Mason certainly was. Isaac Garendo, probably the most popular cash play on the board this week. Was he 4,000, 5,000?
5,400.
54. Okay, so he's actually more expensive than Zach Charbonnet, and I think he's also more expensive than Braylon Allen, believe it or not.
Right. Well, really, we actually skipped on it. Like Swift is pretty banged up. Travis Homer, possible tournament lineup for 4,000. You know, if Swift's banged up and you run a few plays and that quad's acting up again, now this kid's in.
Yeah, and San Francisco is the 6th easiest run defense to go against. So Travis Homer. I mean, I'm not playing Travis Homer. That's a little too gross for me. But it's a good mention for sure, especially in tournaments, of course. It makes sense. But yeah, I think Garendo might end up being one of the most highly owned players on this entire slate.
Oh, absolutely. It's just like anybody who's running behind that and in that offense and scheme has done great. So
yeah,
they're like, come off the bench. You out seat 3007. Go come over here. You're gonna run. Like it's like they have such a good system.
Yeah, come on down. You've been chosen to rush for 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Are you playing anybody in the passing game? Do you have any interest in a Purdy or a Kittle or a Debo or?
I mean, to me, Debo and Jennings. You consider they're both in the 5,000 range, $700.
I'm not considering Debo. I'm not.
No, you don't think?
Debo's been playing so bad lately, so bad.
Yeah,
to me,
but
it's Jennings.
He's got the scheme. They still scheme things for him. He still has. I don't know. I'm not playing him excitingly.
Look, I've been watching them. I watched them extremely closely last week because I was going against Debo and I needed him to stay under a certain point score, which he did easily. They schemed him the ball plenty, and he still ended up with like 8 PPR points. So I don't know. To me, I'm out on Debo until further notice. But Jennings, he's the number 1 receiver on that team. He gets down the field targets. He's the only one who's actually been productive.
Well, so Kittle is, but
Kittle also. Yeah, Jennings and Kittle are the 2 passing game plays that I'd be considering in this game. But Jennings is the price option. He's got a good price, I think,
right? Jennings at 53, 52. 52, yeah. I mean, that's. I'll sign me up for a $5,200 guy.
But just know, but just know that Chicago has the 2nd best defense against receivers, so they're tough to throw on. So that leads towards Garendo. Just a little bit.
And so for tight ends, Kittle's the only play here. Komet, you're a boomer bust every week, and just for the record, Mercedes Lewis is still like a person that plays. That guy's like 80.
He's in the NFL still, yeah. Not dead yet. How about that?
What year is he on? 20.
Chargers, Chiefs. Eventually, they're going to change the NFL logo, so there's a picture of Mercedes Lewis. Sunday night, Chargers, Chiefs. This should be a really good game. The Chiefs are at home, 4-point favorites with a 43-point over/under. Chargers implied for 20.5. The Chiefs for 24. Let's start with the Chargers, Anthony. Your Chargers that you love so much.
It's just Herbert. Great guy. Great quarterback. I like Herbert. I think he's a good play for 5,800. Lab McConkey, questionable. So, like, do you play Quentin Johnson? That's the thing. Like, are you stacking?
I do not.
That right? You're like very nervous about
Disley? It. What's Disley's cost?
Disley is a nice 3,800.
Now you're talking Herbert Disley.
Well, Disley, that's the stack to do because the Chiefs are like the worst against tight end. So
they're great against running backs.
Right, Dobbins done. So it's like they're gonna just Gus and Vidal or whatever. So yeah, I'm not getting any running back in this game, honestly. So if I'm playing any player, it's Herbert and Disley, and just me praying for Quentin Johnston for like a fantasy purpose. But yeah, no.
Redraft. What about the Chiefs? So, I mean, is there anybody in the Chiefs you're excited to play?
No, no.
See, me either.
Sadly, it's been that way. And one of the the group, one of the best teams in the league. Like, there's nobody you're excited about when Mahomes. They're barely winning, and then when Mahomes plays, like, they throw it to everybody. There's receivers you didn't even know that were on the team that got a catch, and yeah, I'm not playing anybody. Pacheco's back.
Pacheco's back.
So,
It has not been great. He just gets, Hunt's been reasonable. He's been serviceable, but he hasn't been good or great. He's just
no, he was good. He was a good pickup when he was available, and those games he played, he got to work. But now that Pacheco's back, you're not touching anything.
Right, and both of these teams, the Chargers and the Chiefs, are both top 7 in running defense.
Right, so it's like, I think it's going to be a good defensive battle. But both these teams are good, so there should be some scoring. But like, I could totally see this game, both teams not breaking 17, or 17-13's the game, So like,
Yeah.
if you told me I have to choose one receiver in this game, it's Hopkins.
Wow, that's gross. Yeah,
Right, and
Hopkins,
you're not
after
excited
that,
about it.
he had one good game as a Chief, and everybody's been living off that one game since. He hasn't had a single other game.
Yeah, all right, but like, if you had to choose a receiver in this game, who are you choosing? I mean, I guess McConkey, but like, I don't know how banged up he is.
Yeah, it would be McConkey. I think he's gonna play. I don't know how.
I was leaning towards, I thought he wasn't. That's why.
I'm checking right now. Let me see.
Yeah, so listen, it's questionable. It's still early. He's tending to not on the hamstring.
Yeah, decision.
Right. So like, I'm not. If you're a game time decision, I can't make that call now. So like, I would have to choose Hopkins.
Sure. Yeah, I guess so.
Sure, I guess.
Well, if I'll put it this way, I mean, if you're forcing me to choose a receiver, I'm gonna
choose one receiver from this game that you had to, if you had to start one.
I will choose Ladd McConkey, and if you told me Ladd McConkey's not going to play, I will choose Quentin Johnston.
Okay.
Because with no McConstant, we'll get a target volume that he could do something with, and I trust him more than I trust DeAndre Hopkins, which is crazy to say because DeAndre Hopkins can catch. Quentin Johnson
can drop.
He cannot. He's a receiver. The last game, the Monday night game, before we build our lineups, Cincinnati Bengals, Dallas Cowboys. This should have a lot of scoring, 49-point over-under. The Cowboys are at home, and they are underdogs by 5.5 points. Vegas has, Buffalo. They have the Bengals at 27 implied points, and the Cowboys at 21.5 implied points. These are two gross teams, but I mean, there's probably going to be some fantasy goodness. What do you say? I mean, you got to look at, obviously, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins.
Yeah, the Bengals are gross on defense. They're great on offense.
Yeah. I mean, every Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, they're all in your line.
Joe Burrow.
I mean, even Mike Gesicki. Yep. How about
they're averaging like 30 points a game, so it's got to go to somebody, and it's going to go to all those guys. They're all going to get some work. But those are the higher priced peoples. On the flip side of the coin, a Cooper Rush CeeDee Lamb stack is affordable as well.
Yeah, that's a good tournament option too.
I like me a Cooper Rush CeeDee Lamb stack because as much as the Bengals will score, they will score at least 24 points this game. I'm thinking they're going to hit 30. and because they're so bad on the other side, and CeeDee Lamb is so good, and Cooper Rush is a decent enough backup to service that good of a receiver, that they're gonna get close as well, and they can score high 20s, if not break into the 30s. They're like the record for like the most scoring over 34 points and still losing. So, and who is it on that team? It's CeeDee Lamb, and then there's like a million Miles, and then there's still nobody.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, your boy Jake Ferguson should be back for this week, so he'll get some target volume at the tight end position because Rush likes to throw it to the tight end. But hey, look, if this game turns into like 49 points, both teams are expected to score points in this game, 27 and 22. The Cowboys are going to have to score some points. Somebody's going to have to score points, right? Dowdle should have a nice game. He should be available to have a nice game. You know, he should be able to have a good game against this Cincinnati defense. Lamb, Dowdle, potentially Ferguson, Cooper Rush. These guys, they're going to have to score a lot of points if the Cowboys are going to score points. You know?
Absolutely.
So that's it. That's our slate breakdown. Okay, we touched on all the games. I think, you know, I hope we did a good job of bringing up and mentioning all the fantasy relevant players in all those games.
I think we did good for the first shot at it.
I'm sorry, you broke up. I didn't hear what you said.
I said I think this was good for our first shot at shooting it and going over it.
Oh yeah. I agree. Okay, so let's talk cash lineup first. So once again, I'm going to be entering this game into share my screen. So we are going to enter this into the NFL Giant $5 double up single entry. Okay. Now let me clear this because this is my other space holder lineup. Okay, so where do we want to get our cash started from? You want to start, you know what I always like to do first? The way I always like to just get it out of the way is the defense.
Agreed.
Right?
So a lot of times I do the single position first.
Yeah, same. And to me, defense, like I always try to, and here's what else I try to do. I try to pick the cheapest possible defense that's going to be reasonable to play, you know, because I don't think I'm going to get I'm not trying to get a huge score out of my defense. I'm just trying to get enough points to cover their cost.
Right. And so like Saints.
Yeah, that's the defense I've been plugging into my lineups.
Right, because it's 2,900. It's good, and they should get some scores.
They're playing against the Giants. The Giants, everybody knows the Giants stink, and there should be some opportunity for some turnovers for the Saints and so on and so forth. So that's the defense that I've been plugging in. If we end up having some extra money and we want to go back at the end and look for it, then that's fine. But I don't mind starting there. So
you want to jump?
Let's talk
tight end.
Sure, let's talk tight ends. So is there somebody now? I mean, obviously Bowers is a great play this week. We did touch on Trey McBride as a good play this week. We didn't talk about Jonnu Smith, but I do think he's a good play this week. The Jets defense is a little tough against tight ends, but he's at least deserves to be mentioned.
Cade Otton is a good play.
Yep, Cade Otton's a fine play. There's no question at 4,400.
Ferguson's a good play. And Will Dissly.
Ferguson, hold on a second. Wait, Ferguson he's got to be he's the night game. He's not on this slate.
Oh yeah, it's a different game. All right, and Dissly's the night game, so they're not there.
We got Jawan Johnson here at 3,400. I think he's the cheapest tight end that we discussed that we're feeling good about playing. I think that's as cheap as it gets.
Right, but and this is cash.
And this is cash. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't mind playing. Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm just like I said. I think the Giants' defense is good against it, but it's still not a bad play. How much is he? 30.
3,400. Yeah, he's the cheapest because I mean you got Calcaterra at 3,500. I don't know how Calcaterra is more expensive than Juwan Johnson, but here we are.
Well, I guess start there, and like you said, if there's that money situation and you're feeling anywhere to go.
I just feel like at 3,400, he can pay that off in 2 or 3 catches, you know. Because let's talk about this too. In cash lineups, you want to try and get a guy who can 3x their price, their score, 3x their price. So, it's for example, 3,400 is what?
11,
3,400,
like 10 and a half.
basically. Yeah. Okay. So it's basically 10 and a half, 11 points. So if Juwan Johnson gets to 11 points, he's 3x his salary. So it's 3.4 times 3, 9, 10.2, I guess, right? So it's 10.2. So if he gets a 10 and a half, then he's 3 times his salary, which makes him a value. That's all you're looking for. In tournaments, you want a guy who can 4x or 5x their salary. But in cash games, you can live with just a 3x. So we'll start there, and we'll potentially revisit if we have some extra money left over. Quarterback?
So QB now?
Sure. Quarterbacks that we discussed Jalen Hurts. We discussed Justin Herbert as a cheap option, as a low-priced quarterback option in cash.
Baker.
We discussed Jameis. We discussed Baker. We discussed Russ. We discussed Darnold. So, where is that way you brought him up, or just throwing him in?
Well, I just think he's a guy who's a cash lineup guy. I think he's grounded for a decent game.
Now, do you want to do the Baker Evans stack?
Say again.
Baker Evans.
Well, that's the thing. That's like that's an option. What other options do you think? I mean, like the Darnold stack a little cheaper.
Darnold with Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that's a good stack, I think.
Which one for cash do you like better? I think I like for cash. Oh, is that me? Oh no, I can't. Sorry.
Yeah.
For cash, for tournaments, I like Darnold. Jefferson.
There you go. So Baker Evans, like I said, they're going for that record for my man. He needs 98 yards today.
Yeah. So now, okay, let's talk running backs. We got 3 really low price running backs that we can plug into this lineup. Do we want to play all 3 of them? Do we want to play 2 of them? How do we want to handle it? You got Garenda. You got Braylon Allen. You got Zach Charbonnet. Charbonnet is the cheapest.
I like Charbonnet for one.
Me too. So let me get him in there. And now, Allen and Garendo. Who do you like better out of Allen and Garendo?
I mean, I guess Garendo. What's the price? $400. Give me Garendo.
I agree. Okay, so now we have 6,600 remaining for our 3 last players. We can get 2 receivers and a flex.
So our average is 67.
So, 66.
Okay. So looking at the receivers, I mean, do you like a London?
I like a London, yeah. I don't mind a London. We pop London.
A London for 64.
So that gives now 67.50 left over. So now let's do this.
Do a flex?
Well, no, maybe, but give me a second here. Go with me on this one first. Time to throw one of these, like for example, a Justin Jefferson or an AJ Brown, for example, maybe more Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Justin. I would probably go Justin Jefferson.
So I'll pop him in there, and then that leaves us at 57 for a flex. Because what we can try to do, we can see if there's anybody here we like, and if not, then we can go back and we can take Justin Jefferson out and maybe go a lower price receiver. But
so what's the other receiver? So you went
Evans,
London
Evans,
and.
Can you see my screen? Can you see the screen?
Yeah, but like, okay, it's a little clear. Evans, London, Jefferson. And now what do we have left? 50 what?
Yeah, 5,700 left over for a flex. So flexes we can play include Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley. That we talked about.
Ooh, I'll take either of them. That's actually like an end the lineup and not have to worry about going back anywhere else. I like that.
I want to do Ridley because he's playing against the shittiest defense in the league.
Yeah, it's probably like, yeah, it's a safer one. No,
For
is
sure.
it though?
It is. Because the other one
it is not. You got Jameis Winston is going to come out in prayer, and nobody else there.
I don't want to
Dude,
break
the
anybody's
horses
bubble.
are prepared for battle.
I want you to understand something right now. There's no Santa Claus. There's no Mr. Bunny. And there's no God. Just wanted to let you guys know that right now. On this podcast, we talk about the truth. And this might cause us to lose some followers, but there is no Santa Claus. There is no Tooth Fairy. And there is no God. Okay, so our lineup in cash is Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans stack. Zach Charbonnet, Isaac Guerrero, Mike Evans. Drake London, I already said Mike Evans. Justin Jefferson, Jawan Johnson, Calvin Ridley, Saints defense. We got no money left over. How do you feel about that?
I feel
good lineup?
Really good.
All right.
I like it.
Locked and loaded.
You can keep the 5. We hit big on the tournament. Share the love.
Give me a second here. My it's not working for some reason.
That's stupid.
I'm gonna re-enter it in again. Guerrero, Charbonnet, Evans, Jefferson, Johnson. Ridley. Oh, because it logged me out. We took so long. Son of a bitch, man. I have to say this. I love DraftKings. I really do. But it is fucking ridiculous how much it just continues to kick you out and kick you out and kick you out. And you have to sign in. I've signed in like 19 times since we've been on this call. And I'm not exaggerating. It's crazy the amount of times I've had to sign back in to this friggin' app because it just signs you out after like 2 seconds. It's crazy.
Need to re-verify you.
It's insane. It's insane how much it like after like 4 minutes, it just kicks you out. You can't even build a lineup without it kicking you out.
No, it's
crazy. It's crazy.
Reaction. That's how they make you bet fast.
I guess so. Like I don't know what the thought process is that you have to do, that you can't be logged in for more than 5 minutes at a time. I don't get it. I mean, it's got to be some sort of security thing. And I know that like in certain states, you don't have, like in certain states, you can just use like your fingerprint or Face ID to log in. In New Jersey, it won't let you use Face ID to log in. So it's got to be there's something to do with like where we are that has to do with it. It's insane to me how many, like when we do our show on Tuesday nights, I must get kicked out. I shit you not, 20 times per episode that I have to sign back in and sign back in, and sometimes it makes me like sends a code to my phone that I have to verify. Like I've been signed into this thing for the last 20 minutes, and now I got to verify with my phone number that it's still me. I just want to stay logged in. That's all
Just
I
let
want.
me be here.
Just stay. I want to log in on Sunday morning and be logged in. It's a simple request. Anthony has a simple request too, right?
Yeah, Anthony, another one. Anthony to another. Garrett Wilson or Calvin Ridley in a full PPR. I like Ridley.
I'm going Calvin Ridley. Is that what you said too, Anthony? Yeah, we're good. We're both at Ridley here. It's hard to trust Garrett Wilson right now. Rodgers is pretty locked on to Devontae Adams, and we're also very scared to play Jets in general. So we're gonna both go Calvin Ridley. He's in our
targets all
we just
year.
put him in our we just put him in our cash game lineup, so we're both in on Ridley for sure. What about Varun Vedantham?
Gus Edwards or Wan'Dale Robinson or Ray McLeod. PPR pick one.
Breaking news: George Pickens inactive today.
Shut your face.
Breaking news: George Pickens inactive.
Freiermuth up top.
Yeah, start up your Freiermuths. And whoever else you like in the Pittsburgh receiver core. So who do you like? Gus Edwards, Wan'Dale, or McLeod?
I mean, McLeod's not in it for me, so it's between Gus and Wan'Dale. And I'm so afraid to say Wan'Dale, so I'm going to say Gus.
Yeah, I'm going to say Gus Edwards also, but they're bad. They're all bad options. I'll say Gus Edwards and just hope he gets the majority of the work.
Or a touchdown.
I mean, Gus Edwards could not possibly have a worse matchup going against Kansas City. Could not have a worse matchup, and he doesn't look good at all. You know what? I'm going to say Wan'Dale. Because Gus Edwards is going to have an abysmal day. He's going to be terrible today. That the running game for both teams is going to be terrible today. Bills or Saints? D. I'm going to go Saints. Saints for me.
Bills
Saints are playing against
Rams?
Giants.
Yeah,
Bills are at Rams. Yeah, Saints for me, no doubt. All right, now we're going to try to build the tournament lineup, but I'm also going to get logged out of DraftKings 17 times between now and the time we actually get this lineup built. So bear with us when we do this because it's driving me crazy here. Okay, so tournaments. We want to have shoot for the moon here. We want to swing for the fences. I'm still good to start with the Saints defense, though.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the Saints defense, plug the Saints defense in, and then get logged out automatically. And then we'll go back in and we will. Wait a minute. Neighbors is active today. Is active today.
So for tourney lineup, two options.
Go ahead.
What did we do for cash? We did Baker, right? So
Baker Evans, yeah.
The higher priced Darnold Jefferson, or if you want to go Addison, but Darnold being the quarterback, or super tourney Will Levis.
I would like to also add Caleb Williams in the mix.
Where's Caleb Williams at? 56. Okay, yeah, Caleb Williams.
So you're talking Levis Ridley stack, basically?
Yeah.
You're talking with Levis Ridley. I'm talking Williams.
DJ Moore.
DJ. Yeah, DJ Moore. Williams, DJ Moore. The Titans, let's see. Well, the Jaguars, we know their defense is just trash. San Francisco. They're hard to pass against. So let's go with Levis.
Levis Ridley stack?
Yeah.
And that gives like that's a cheap. Was it 5 and 57?
Yep.
5. So you're at 10-7 for your QB wide receiver stack. That's pretty good.
Yes.
So
what about tight
what's our
ends?
average?
6,000.
Okay. And tight end, you said?
Tight end. So obviously we like Bowers. We like Kittle. We like
Janu. We like Otten. We like Freiermuth now.
we do like Freiermuth now.
And Disley's. So
Want to go Freiermuth?
I guess Calcaterra could be in the conversation for Torney.
You want to go Freiermuth?
Yeah, honestly, for their same exact price, Freiermuth or Disley, either or. Yeah, I guess you can't go wrong. Like I know Chiefs stinky poo with defense to the tight end, but we don't know about McConkey. Oh no, that's a night game. Is that even available? So I'm sorry. Yeah, Freiermuth.
Freiermuth is good. Running backs. Running backs we liked include James Cook, Tony Pollard, Saquon Barkley, of course. We liked Kyron Williams. We liked Isaiah. Okay. So maybe like, do you want to put like one of Garendo, Zach Sherman, and Allen in our lineup here to give us a little bit more salary relief?
You want to do Charbonnet Barkley?
Sure.
See if we can do that.
All right. Charbonnet Barkley is in there. So now we still have 6,200 for our remaining
That's
players.
pretty good.
It is pretty good. Receivers we liked for tournaments. Your boy David Moore from Carolina. Addison, we liked. MVS. We liked Brian Thomas Jr., which would be a bring back in this game, but JSN, Marvin Harrison Jr., CeeDee Lamb, but only as a staff, I think. AJ Brown, Mike Evans, we talked about already. Drake London, we talked about. Jawan Jennings.
Yeah, Mooney's an option, or Mooney in London, right? Or no, that was
Mooney and London are both options. Yes. Matt Collins, your boy.
I mean, that's if we spend. How many players we need? 3 or 2?
3, 2 receivers and a flex.
So like, if we're going Mac Hollins as an option, then you got to go like, back up towards the top.
Yeah, like here, hold on a second. If I put Mac Hollins in at 3,500, which probably is a terrible play, just a horrible play. But if I do that, then we have 7,600 left over to spend per player. So we could get, for example, you could easily put in Mike Evans, who we expect to get 100 yards. And we still have 8,100, which means we can play like AJ Brown,
AJ Brown and Mike Evans in there.
AJ Brown and Mike Evans, you think?
No, wait, or I mean 8,100. Let me go to flag. So, Kamara's a good option too.
It is a good option. Saints and Kamara. Although Kamara's a good option, but they're activating that kid Kendra Miller now. So they might actually let Kendra Miller run the ball, especially if they get up big or they're ahead. I like AJ Brown in that situation better.
But like you said, with Mac Hollins, you can go AJ Brown and Mike Evans.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I like it. I was just seeing any other person that I would like go around as 8,100 being the top level would be left, and AJ Brown is 8,100. I was just looking around.
Yeah,
it's pretty much It's AJ Brown or Kamara, so I'll take Brown. So we're in on the Barkley Brown situation.
We have Will Levis, Calvin Ridley. We have Barkley and AJ Brown, which does make me a little nervous. We got Zach Charbonnet, we got Mac Hollins, Mike Evans, Pat Freiermuth, and Saints defense. This is definitely a tournament lineup. So we got some disgusting, gross players in here.
So, question being, before we do it, do you want to, at any point, maybe take AJ Brown down to a Justin Jefferson or a Puka or something just a little lower to then have to change Mac Hollins?
Yeah, let's go for even lower though than that. Let me look down here a little bit further.
In wide receivers, JSN.
Well, I mean, you got JSN, you got Drake London still, you got, like, for example, Brock Bowers, flex there. I consider him essentially like a wide receiver.
Brian Thomas Jr., Jalen Hawkins, Addison, no.
Or we could go to something, we could go drastic to like a Jerry Jeudy, drop way down.
I do like, I mean, I think Jeudy, as long as what's his name is there, like is a fine play.
Jeudy, as long as Jameis is there.
Yes.
So if we plug Jeudy in here to this lineup, that gives us 400. Now we got 5,900 instead of Mac Hollins. We can play. So we can play, which I don't want to play, but we can play Debo. We could play Khalil Shakir, Brian Thomas Jr., Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith, no, not really.
Or what about this? I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. is an option. Or if you think that any of these few players, Rico Dowdle, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
So if you feel like your 5,900 is what's left, and the top person's Chubb and Samuel, and we're not too excited about that, but then you scroll up a little bit, and you have Marvin Harrison, Najee Harris, Rico Dowdle, all $100 more. Trey McBride, $200 more, and then that's kind of where I'll stop. So then maybe there's a defense situation where we could drop a hunch to pick one of those other guys. I'd rather have Dowdle, Harris, or Harrison than Chubb or Samuel. And I guess you can go to like Jags D or Titans D, because they're probably, let me look at the Ds.
Titans D is 100 less. That gets us, Titans D gets us Najee Harris and Marvin Harrison Jr. Want to go Marv?
And we already did the Ridley, so that's all Tennessee in. They got a good pass defense. I'm okay with that. And then you pick Harris or Harrison, or
Marvin Harrison. I think Marvin Harrison has a higher ceiling.
So Harrison Jr., which I'd rather go because we already got this Freiermuth, so we got a piece of that game.
So we got Levis and Ridley. We got Jeudy. We got Evans. We got Freiermuth at tight end. We got Barkley and Charbonnet at running back. We got Marv Harrison Jr. at flex, and then we got the Titans defense. So we're heavy on the Titans, but if the Titans beat Jacksonville, which they should today, and actually score some points, we could be sitting pretty.
And we have Barkley in there, which is expensive. So
yeah. Barkley's expensive. Evans, we've talked about it. I think we're both in on Evans having a really nice day today. They're going to do everything they can to get him a nice day. Whether he has it or not is a different story. But I think it'd be a concerted effort by the offense to get him the ball.
No, I like it. I like this lineup.
Cool, man. I'm locking it in. And this one is in the $3 pylon, single entry.
Let's go.
So hopefully we get some money here. All right, bro.
Wait, we have 13 minutes before it's 12 o'clock.
Oh, you're right. That's accurate.
So I know I'm really good with time and not really with math. I want to try and see where I'm at. Hold on. Tiers.
Oh, right. Go ahead.
So let me look at a tier here, and I'll enter it because I can't do it on my computer because I'm not logged in, because then I would have to do so much to get logged in onto my computer.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's crazy.
Well, right, but I could at least, I'm looking it up, not signed in, so I can at
It
least
would take
see what's there,
12
choose the
years.
people.
We only have 12 minutes before noon. It would take them 40 minutes to sign in.
All right, so listen, it's all on you. We could discuss as we have been, but you're all decision. Okay, so
Give
there's
me a second here.
6.
So I'm looking at the tiers here. Which one are you looking at?
I don't know. They should all be the same, no? I think. All right. Does yours say just Jalen Hurts, Mayfield, Josh Allen, Tua?
Give me a second. Just all right. Yeah, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield,
Right.
Josh Allen.
So
Tua
you
Tagovailoa.
like basically which one's gonna have the best day?
I'm gonna say Jalen Hurts.
Okay. Tier 2. Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, Bijan Robinson, Devon Achane. That's tough.
I'm gonna take Hurt. I'm gonna put Barkley in, and I'm gonna take Hurts out and put Baker in.
Okay, Barkley and then Baker. Got it. All right, tier 3. AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua, Mike Evans.
Mike Evans.
I like it. He's like no hesitation. Tier 4. Cooper Kupp, James Cook, Kyron Williams, Malik Neighbors. Wow. George Pickens, who's out, so that's a free miss out, and Tyreek Hill. So Tyreek Hill, Neighbors, Kyron Williams, James Cook, Cooper Kupp.
Kyron Williams.
Okay. Tier 5. Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams, Jameis Winston. I say again. Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams, Jameis Winston.
Caleb Williams.
And tier 6. Wow, Kenny Walker in there, so that's out. Brock Bowers, Drake London, James Conner, Trey McBride, Bucky Irving, Tony Pollard, DJ Moore.
Brock Bowers.
All right.
So it's Baker, Barkley, Evans, Kyron, Caleb, Bowers.
Yep. 3 B's, 2 W's, and an E.
That's the way I do it. That's always the way I do it.
Hey, that was pretty good.
Nice.
You know, cleanly went through everything with a good amount of time.
I plugged in that lineup over here too. I put a tiers in as well.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. So good job by us. Credit to us. We did a nice job breaking down all the games. We built 2 lineups. So obviously next Sunday we will reconvene at 10 a.m. We will go over our results from this week, talk about some of our hits and misses briefly, and then look over the next slate as we move ahead for week 50.
Like it.
So good luck to you, Anthony, today in your fantasy lineups and your fantasy matchups. Good luck to everybody who's watching.
Too. I'm gonna need it.
Thank you. Me too. I'm gonna need it too. Let's just take a look real quick before we log off here. I just need to check one thing to see how we sit right now.
I'm gonna throw up
today.
today.
It looks like it's 11:52 right now, and one of my opponents still hasn't set their lineup yet.
Solid.
Interesting.
Yeah, that Braylon Allen move might bite me in the ass this week.
It could, but you never know. You never know. So, all right, man. I will talk to you later. Have a good day today. Have fun, and I will see you next week, where it's always Sunday.